Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Dorton and Duckett Debate Podcast. I'm Lucas Dorton, joined by Nick Duckett over here. We have another Nick joining the show from the Searles Grizzlies. Nick Dewanz, Mr. Dewanz, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Doing
Absolutely.
not too bad.
That's good. That's good. Before we get rolling, though, folks, I wanted to wear this especially for this show. And you might be wondering what this is. You see that all right? We got the blur. Ladies and
This year.
gentlemen, this is a Nick Dewanz specialty. Number
There you go.
17,
There you
Bethany Lutheran College jersey. I had to pull that out of the closet today to bring
Yeah,
it up.
game worn. Game worn
Game
jersey.
worn too. Game worn, fresh out
Boy,
of the closet.
you could sell that thing on eBay for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Probably tens and tens of dollars, I would guess.
As of right now, it's not worth that much. You gotta sign it first.
Oh, okay, next time I see you, we'll have you sign it, put it up for you, then we'll be good to go.
Yep. That's right.
Go.
If you get to 1,000 views or 1,000 viewer, you can have that.
Nope. Then I'm framing it, putting it up. Absolutely.
Yeah, man cave worthy.
Has to be centerpiece, like right above the TV or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. It sounds good to me.
Love it. Love it. All right. Awesome. Well, we can talk about the memorabilia later. We're gonna chat some Townball today, which is a pretty great thing, obviously. And if you folks have been following along with this series that we've been doing for quite a while now, it's been awesome. It's been awesome to hear different people's stories, and so we're having a new person on today. But before Nick, we get any further, I do have some questions that I like to ask our visitors, our guests that come on the show. And it's questions just to kind of get to know them a little bit more and know a little bit more about their baseball fandom and kind of where everyone's coming from that. So I already know the answer to this, but who is your favorite Major League Baseball team?
Oh, the Twins. It's gotta be.
Yeah, gotta be the Twins. Gotta be the Twins. Nick and I, Dewanz, went to opening day one year when we both went to the same college. I helped out with the baseball team that he played on at Bethany, and we went to opening day one year. And I remember I caught a ball in batting practice, and then after the game, walking on the street outside of Target Field, and we walked right by Brock Lesnar. That was
Really?
one of the most. That man is an absolute mountain, folks. He is huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. When you walk past him, you gotta look down. Don't look at him.
yeah, don't look him in the eyes. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Give me an
no. You look
F5
down.
right into the car or something like that.
Yep.
And you're a big. You're what, 6'4", 6'5"
Yep.
yourself? I mean, you're not short by any means, and he made
He
you
made me look
quite
small.
tiny that day.
It was crazy.
But anyways, awesome experience. Okay, Minnesota Twins. So who is your all-time favorite Twin?
Mm. I don't know. I do like Cuddy, Michael Kadire.
Yep, yep,
That's a good one. Obviously, the Joe and Justin for sure.
yep,
Same
yep,
team.
yep.
And then a little spurt of Paul Revere.
Oh, Ben
Huh?
Revere. We're thinking Ben Revere.
Ben Revere, Paul Revere, something same
Yep.
thing.
I mean, the
Revere,
British are coming. The British are coming.
that's right. Both were very, historical figures for
Historic
reasons.
did flips rounding the second base,
Twins been around a long time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, awesome. So now, who is your all-time favorite non-Minnesota Twin? So maybe it was somebody who maybe played with the Twins at one point, but they're kind of predominantly known for having played the majority of their career elsewhere.
Mm,
It's a
like
tough
a
one.
Brad Radke
Oh, okay.
comes to mind. He's a pitcher.
Yep. Sure. Sure. Anyone
I don't
else
know if
off
anything.
your dome?
No, if probably my good twin that pitched for a while, and Terry Steinbach. He
Okay.
was he was a catcher
Yeah.
for the Twins, and for the Athletics,
Yeah.
and he played here in New Ulm.
In New Orleans. Yeah.
That's right.
He had two other brothers that were pretty dang good too, and they all three of them went to the Gophers.
Oh, really?
Played there and had historic careers for the
That's cool.
Gophers.
That's cool. Good. Well, I like it. And then this last question for you, and maybe, maybe you already answered it, but who is a player that you really appreciated that like probably wasn't at the end of the day great, not certainly not a Hall of Famer, but like we had someone, yesterday that mentioned Nick Punto, so someone who like, maybe you appreciated that maybe a lot of other people didn't. If you can think of that. That makes sense.
Jason Kubel.
Jason Kubel. Okay.
Cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Kubel.
Yeah. When I was a kid, anytime Kuba would come up, they'd be like, "Coop," and I thought they were booing him. I'm like, why the heck are we all booing Jason Kuba?
That's what I thought too.
Oh, they did the same thing that Lou Ford. They're like, Lou. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I felt like an idiot when I finally realized what they were doing.
That's good.
I love me some Kubel too.
Nice. Good choice. Good choice. Cool. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing your insight with us there on that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But now we'll go into the great stuff here. So now we'll start chatting some town balls. So thanks for giving us your insight into your baseball.
Yep.
So you have been a part of 2 different town ball teams. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So talk to me a little bit about where you started. Obviously, I'm on the Searles Grizzlies now.
Yep.
But who were you on before this?
The New Ulm Kaiser off.
Okay, absolutely. And how old were you when you first signed there?
I think I was 16 or 17. Not
Okay.
quite sure on the start of the age, but
Sure. Yeah. Pretty.
then started there, and then when they folded it was I think it was about a 5 to 6 year career there, and then I went to the Grizz.
Good old Grizz.
You were with them until they folded?
Yep.
Okay, then I played against you and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, probably. I loved playing Arlington.
Yeah.
Yep. I
Okay.
loved throwing a knuckleball for days.
Yeah, folks, for those of you who don't know, I have played a lot of catch with Mr. Dewanz throughout the years, and every once in a while he'll break out that knuckleball and won't tell you it's coming. And boy, good luck. Good luck trying to catch it. It is quite disgusting. It's quite disgusting. But awesome. That's cool. That's cool. So talk to me a little bit about your baseball playing history growing up. I assume you started at a younger age and then just kind of worked your way up.
Very young age, obviously T-ball. It's
T-ball.
probably where a lot of them
Okay.
start. And then I went out to Lafayette, to town north of New Ulm. And then I quit for about 2 years.
Really?
Hated it.
Really?
Hated the sport.
Oh, why? Why
I
was
didn't
that?
want to get it. Just didn't want to get into it. I got beaned a lot. Didn't want to do it. Then the coach out there is like, hey, you should probably come on. Come on. At least come to practice.
I mean, at that point, you were probably 6'2".
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
At least in the 6 for sure.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just give it a shot. And then ever since.
So how old were you then when you got back into it the second time then?
Like 11,
Okay.
12,
Gotcha.
something like that. And then grade school.
Yep.
Then MVL, and
Yep.
then to Bethany.
So then, obviously at Bethany, you were a PO, so you only pitched.
Yep.
What about your career before that in high school and maybe grade school a little bit too? What positions did we play?
Mainly first base and obviously pitcher. Those were the 2 I hated. The outfield. I couldn't judge a ball worth anything.
Not easy.
No. Even pop-ups in the infield are tough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, those were the positions I played, and some third.
Okay.
I would say,
Well, pretty
especially in town. Yeah, and the Kaiser often did play third too. That sucked.
Just getting piss missiles hit right at you.
Oh yeah, and then especially when we don't have a hard thrower on the mound,
Yeah.
and you have righties for days
Yeah.
in that lineup.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it
don't know.
sucked.
I don't know if there's anything worse than third base and slow pitch softball against a good team. Whew, that's what I
Yeah,
gotta
that
do.
too.
Then oh frick.
Yeah, I do play first base and for
Piss.
slow pitch,
Okay.
Okay. There we
and
go.
that could be kind of tough too,
Yeah.
especially when you have a D2 a D2 baseball player
Yeah, I'd say.
that knows how to
Ripping them
rip
at
it,
you. Yeah, absolutely.
and
That's
then you're
cool.
just scared.
So you're a man that has a lot of different pitches. You kind of dabble with them a little bit. So when you first got into high school at MVL, I would guess that was probably the first time where you seriously maybe started to pitch and like tried to like understand it a little bit more. Um, so talk to me about that, like your progression as a pitcher from when you first got into high school and then once you got to your senior year and then through your time at Bethany.
So then when I was at Lafayette, they're
Mhm.
like only fastballs, don't want to wreck your arm. Then I went to grade school. Then that's where like, hey, you can probably throw like two curveballs like per inning.
Yeah.
Like don't want to wreck it. And then into and then when I understood the game at MVL, then I really got my all three the fastball curve change. Those were my pitches in college too. Didn't
Yeah.
really have anything
Yeah. The bread and
too
butter.
crazy, too special.
Right. Right. Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah. Um, So then at MVL, you're a senior. Talk to me a little bit about your recruitment process and how you ended up deciding on going to Bethany for school and obviously to play ball.
Well, I wanted to be like near home,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to become a teacher or pastor.
Okay.
So MLC is
Yeah, that
out.
was out the
So
window.
then I
Yeah.
was like, well, the closest thing is Bethany. So then I submitted my form or whatever, and then I enrolled. I applied, and that was it. And the Coach Craig didn't call me, didn't text me, didn't do anything. I was like, I don't really care. I'm coming there anyways, so it don't really
Whether I
matter.
play or not, I'll be there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll be a part of the team no matter what.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Absolutely. So, coming into then Bethany, did you come in with the mindset of like maybe I could play first and pitch, or were you like, I'll probably just focus on one thing or the other? How did that go?
Probably PO because I was kind of struggling hitting as a senior in high school.
Yeah,
And so then it's like, well, in college you're a lot better pitchers
right,
than anything you see in high school.
right,
Yeah.
So
right.
I was like, yeah, screw hitting. Don't
So
want to do that at all.
that was a pretty easy decision for you then.
Very easy decision.
That's good. That's good. And then throughout your career at Bethany, the 4 years that you were there, talk to me about your progression of getting time on the field. Obviously, towards the end of your career, you were relied on quite often to go in there and whether it was starting, you would come out of the game or come into the game out of the pen sometimes too. So talk to me a little bit about that progression throughout your time there.
So it really, I think the coach really was on to me when in my freshman year at fall ball,
Yeah.
I I shook off, I think a, s- a sophomore, maybe even a junior catcher,
Wow.
and I wanted to change it to him, and he
Okay.
didn't give it to me. So then the catcher called time and everything, and then coach said, you wanted that changeup, didn't you?" And I said, "Yep." And so then he just like yelled at the catcher.
Really?
It's like, oh, I'm not getting yelled at this time. And so then in AZ, out freshman year, I was the first one out of the pen in the season.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, crap. Okay.
Yeah. And as a freshman too, that's huge.
Yeah, and I was backing up senior
Yep.
Lucas Hurt.
Yep.
And I was like, oh crap, I might be in this thing.
Yeah.
And then in my freshman year, then I pitched, and then coach says that I get the ball for the championship game, conference championship. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow. So how was that for you then?
Oh, it was stressful,
Yeah.
especially knowing the day before. And then we got to get moved to a different hotel because we packed up our bags just in case that we lost. So now I have a different hotel, and then I get roomed with two seniors
As a
and
freshman.
myself as a freshman.
Holy
No.
cow.
And obviously double queen bed
Yep.
rooms. Like, okay, where am I gonna sleep?
Yeah.
Where am I gonna sleep? Am I gonna sleep on the floor or in the tub? Didn't know.
The night before the game. The night
The
before.
night before I pitch in the conference championship game. And then they say to me, you pick a bed. We don't care. We're gonna sleep together. Like, oh my God, seriously?
Nice.
So then obviously, you go to bed early, you wake up, and then this nerves
Oh yeah.
kick in. Like, oh my God, am I actually doing this? And then I didn't pitch too bad.
Yeah. How did we do? What was the final line for you that day, if you remember?
Uh, eight and two thirds, 89 pitches.
Jeez, it's a Maddox.
Yeah, it was. And then I shut down one of their seniors from Slastica. From there, his 30, 40 game hit streak or whatever from the previous year.
Really?
Yeah, shut him down. He was 0 for 4 against me. And then I thought from there, then I thought I was going to be, a
Yeah.
decent pitcher.
You couldn't get that 27th out? The hell's wrong with you?
No, I was done. I was gassed, and Craig's like, "Yeah, you're done."
That's
And
awesome.
so then the senior comes in, Colin Risting,
Yep.
throws one pitch out.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then I was
One
like,
pitch outing.
I was like, Coach, seriously, I could have threw just one pitch.
That's awesome.
So I had a complete game. We lost 3-0. So that's not too bad at all after they beat us 12-2
Yep.
with a senior on the mound, Lucas Hurd, I believe.
Yep. Gotcha. So then obviously almost like immediate trust almost right out of the gate from Coach Craig, like, hey, this guy can do it.
Immediate, yeah.
Which like Coach Craig is an unbelievable coach. He's very, very, very good at what he does. And if you earn it, like you'll get chances. You'll get chances and you got that right away. So I think that's pretty awesome to see. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was awesome to get the ball.
So then
a
obviously
lot of different occasions.
right. So then now fast forward now to senior year, your senior year. Fast forward once again to the UMAC title game. Once again, playing Saint Scholastica to
Up there.
to win the conference in Scholastica. So they were hosting this.
Yep.
And folks, Scholastica was an absolute horse in like in a lot of sports, but baseball, they rarely lost. They rarely lost, always winning the title. And this was the first time that Bethany was competing for a UMAC title. And who was on the mound for him? Good old Nick Dewanz to close things out. So how did we do that game? Talk to me a little bit about that. Actually, here, back up a little bit. Talk to me a little bit about when you found out you were going to be throwing that game, and then give me like the lead up kind of mindset getting to that game. And then once we're in the game, talk to me a little bit about that too.
So going into the game or into the tournament, we had Cody Leitner that was going to pitch game one. Didn't know how that was going to go. It was against Morris or Northwestern. He did okay there. We got the dub, and then we were facing Slastica, I believe, again. And so then we're using up our pitchers, and then we lose, and then we have to we have to play the team that lost to Morris or Northwestern. So we got to play them. I think it's Northwestern because we walked it off
Mm-hmm.
there, and then we go to a championship Saturday. Then we house them for 17 runs, but it's 17-7. But we went all nine. We scored 10 in the last in the night in the top of the ninth.
Oh my gosh.
So we used literally all our pitchers. I was the only one that didn't pitch at all that weekend, and I had a feeling. And then here comes Craig with the pearl, and he flips it. It's like, you got it. It's like, oh boy, here we go. I walk over to my parents. I show them the ball that's in my glove, and they're about like they're so nervous. My mom starts just pacing.
She's more nervous than you are.
Yeah. Then I go out there and do my routine stuff and just get ready for the game.
And then you shoved.
Shoved.
That was one of the most dominant pitching performances I have watched. Because you went, how many innings did you go? Was it like 6 2/3?
I think it was 5.
5. Okay.
It was 5. I may have went into the 5th. I may have not have closed
Into
the
the
5th.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, you were dealing. Though. That was a super fun way to watch. And then obviously ended up winning and a la first UMAC title. Bethany. That was pretty sweet.
Ever.
That was pretty sweet. That was an awesome team to be a part of. And then repeating again, obviously you weren't there, but then doing it the next year was awesome too. But you mean kind of knowing that like you're a pretty large reason why that first happened is an unbelievable feeling. I could imagine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so a little story about the win, the conference championship win is when the parents were up there and the athletic director for Bethany had a kid on the team and said, if they win the tournament, we will come back to this restaurant and I will buy this whole cake. So we went on. He has to go, and they all went and ate this $60 cake.
That's awesome. That's a cool story. That's pretty funny. That's sweet.
A big old cake.
Yeah, and I always remind it whenever I see him.
Oh yeah, that was some good cake.
Really good cake.
That's good.
Especially for $60.
Awesome. So then, talk to me now. We'll transition now after college into more Townball talk now. So tell me a little bit about when the Kaiser-Off folded, and now you're searching for a new team. What did that search look like? Was it just I live, within the Searles city limit, and that's the next closest team, or how did that process kind of work for you?
Well, I had a lot of texts and calls to join the Brewers.
Okay,
another team that in New Ulm, and
sure, yep.
Really didn't. I don't know. Care for them is the right word, but I knew I really wasn't gonna play
right
there because they had their pretty good rotation. They're pretty good relievers, so I don't think I was going to see the field at all. And this was, I think, going into my senior year or junior year. So I was like, no. And then the manager for Searles reached out to me, and that's where all the Kaiser-Off guys are going. So then it's like, well, let's do it. So then I go out there and become acquainted with them, and now it's a blast out there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And thank goodness I did that from the get-go.
Yeah, yeah. So talk to me a little bit about so growing up, obviously in New Ulm, I mean, have some pretty elite town ball teams. I'm sure you got to watch growing up. How often did you go to games when you had that 2 year hiatus? Did you say, "Screw baseball, I ain't watching it at all," or did you go to those games a lot growing up as a kid?
Not even close. I
Okay,
didn't watch anything local one bit. I stayed home, watched the Twins, really stayed to myself.
yeah,
And then when I was on the Kaiserhof, then I would go to Brewer games.
okay,
But it's about it
yeah,
outside of. And then in college, then I go around and watch a lot more games now
sure, yep, yep,
because now they're free to get into.
yep, yeah,
There with the
sure,
Brewers, you had to pay to get in,
yeah.
which I really didn't want to do that.
Well, yeah, no, that's fair. That's
Got
fair.
time
Yeah,
for that.
for a kid, it's probably like $2, but
Right, but that's, like $1 million to a kid.
That's like
exactly.
like 2 ring pops, man.
Yeah, or a
Yeah,
lollipop, or
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
The nice glizzy.
Okay,
yeah.
moving on from that. So, uh, so now you're on the Searles Grizzlies. Um, I guess let me back up a little bit. So for the Kaiserhof, then talk to me a little bit about that process of getting on the team. How did that work? Would someone reach out to you? Or you're just like, hey, I want to play, and they put you on, or how did that roll for you?
So there was an MVL dad that was managing the team,
Hmm,
and he coached out at MVL, just assistant coach for the varsity. And so
Kiefer?
then Ranky,
Oh, okay.
Tim Ranky reached out, and so then then he called me or texted me, I don't know which one. And
yeah,
so hey, let's join the Townball team. I was like, okay, sounds good, whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
because now that like there I have passion for the game again
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and wanted to compete at a pretty high level.
Mm-hmm.
And so went there and did okay first and second year, and then got to college. Then I got better and better at Townball. I was like, could probably do this thing.
Yeah.
And here we are now.
Here we are now. Absolutely. So now Searles, obviously you are one of their horses, one of their dogs for sure, one could say. But
Oh
you
yeah.
at one point you had a little bit of an injury setback. Got hurt a little bit. So talk to me a little bit about that. What happened there and what was that recovery process like?
So the summer going into my senior year, I partially tore my UCL in my elbow. I felt it. It didn't feel great, and I struck out 9 out of 10 batters. That game was just awesome. But
Yeah,
that's how they say, like, you will pitch very hard when it's gonna go. And I didn't think of anything. I do know that now.
yeah. You just thought you
But
were throwing gas.
yeah, I thought I was crazy. And so then I feel something. I was like, oh, and it was like at the end of the inning. Like I struck the guy out in the inning, felt it. Oh no. So then you're rubbing a tennis ball on your elbow just to see if it's a knot, something, and then it's not getting better. And then I go to my chiropractor, Dean Brinkman, and he's doing these tests on here, and it's like, yeah, you should probably go see Dr. Boss, the ex-Twins trainer
Mm,
up in the cities for a second opinion. So I do that, and he looks at me, says, your shoulders are 2 different levels. Like, what do you mean? So my shoulder, my right shoulder was down.
Really?
So my elbow had to have a lot of extra like oomph or something like that.
You had to compensate for it a little bit.
Compensate, had a counter what my shoulder was doing. And so then got the MRI done. Worst thing ever.
Really?
Worst thing you could do is put a big guy in a very small area for about 45 minutes.
That makes sense.
It's horrible.
That's
And you have to be like, and you have like, you raise your hand and you have, and like you're laying on your right bicep. Your forehead is on your right bicep. No, do that for 45 minutes and see how you feel.
Yeah. I can't imagine very comfortable.
Yeah, and it has to go like in the center.
Yep. Jeez.
So yeah, that just sucked. Then I went to Northfield for my rehab, and then it was just rehab, no surgery.
Nice.
So I rehabbed my shoulder, and then a college athlete had to learn how to throw properly. They'll tell me if like you a little stuck up, like what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
Like no,
Yeah,
like,
I know what I'm doing.
like yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm pitching in college. I know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing. But no, he said no, you got to throw this way. So now from there on out, I am throwing the correct way. And I can't go sidearm or it hurts.
So
Can't
is that
go over
what
the top.
So you were
or it
more
hurts.
like 3/4 sidearm before, and then now you're
Yep.
over the
And
top?
now I'm like right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you got to throw this way. So it's whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about because you've been in this business for a long time.
That's true.
I'm not going to question that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, here we are now. Now we're feeling refreshed.
Yep.
Been
And then
healing ever
in the
since.
off seasons, I swim
Okay.
to keep the motion of throwing a baseball
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
going, and then using everything to get your lactic acid out if you have any lactic acid in the off season.
Sure. Yep.
And then throwing in the pool. Just doing
the motion,
go from the wind up and the stretch in the water.
Yeah.
Really stride out. Really, go towards home faster, stronger. So you build the legs up from there. And that's what I like to do.
Yeah, I think I might start to steal that. That's a good idea.
I've never heard that, but I should do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, so now Searles Grizzlies balling out there. Talk to me a little bit about your very first, however, just overall Townball experience. Your very first game that you played in. I know a lot of times, and I've mentioned it before, you're kind of like figuring out like, oh, this is Townball. Like I never knew it was this until you got into the game. Do you have a specific moment that you can remember where you got in there and you're like, man, this is like much different than what I thought it was?
Not really for Searles, but for the Kaiser off when we played in the River Valley. Those are some big dudes as a high schooler.
Yeah.
That you really can't like throw a fastball and expect it for them to whiff or be slow on it.
Yeah.
You gotta pick and choose your battles on when you want to throw your pitches.
Sure.
Yeah, you got guys like Nick Tucker to pitch to in the RPL.
Exactly.
Right.
And Lucas Dorton.
Yeah, well, I get like 5 at bats a year, so I
Hey,
don't know.
you never know.
I feel pretty confident. Okay, gotcha. So it was more for you was more like the size, like these dudes are huge, like they're massive.
Yeah, because I'm 6'4", 6'5", and I'm on the mound and I'm throwing to, high schoolers that
Yeah.
maybe are, the average height of, 5'8". And then all of a sudden you're pitching against, 6'4" dudes.
Yeah.
And they're dudes.
Yeah,
Like
like
they
they're
know
men.
how.
They're
Yeah.
Yeah,
men.
men.
Dorton. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. That's cool. So, what are some big memories that you have? What are some of your favorite memories of playing town ball so far up to this point in your career? And if there's like maybe it's too tough, maybe you have like a Mount Rushmore of things, like a few things that really jump out to you right away from your time so far.
So when I was with the Kaiser off and I was throwing pretty much from like fence to fence in the air and I don't know if you know Henderson
Hmm.
Yeah.
at all. It's pretty short all the way
Such a
around.
crappy field.
It's very crappy field. And so I was just throwing from fence to fence from from right center to all the way to the bullpen, just throwing it, and they're out there just looking at the ball like, oh my god, what are we doing? Like, what are we getting ourselves into?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is where in warm-ups, then I just throw my knuckleball or a slow pitch like an ephus,
Mhm.
so they can't really tie me up
Right.
in warm-ups. And so then when they get in the box, then I just fastball right down the middle. They just look
Sure.
at me like, who are you? What are you on?
Get them off your track a little bit.
Good old Henderson.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's cool.
Yeah. And then we go to Minnesota for about 3 years straight for a little tournament there.
Okay.
Just 2 games one day. So we pull up to Minnesota. We're about 2 hours before game time. You know what? Let's have a beer. Might as well. Just stop at a local bar there, right in town. Have 2 beers. Go and play. We just kicked their ass. It was horrible. They always had this horrible team that played, and we would play them because the buddy on the Grizz knew a guy on Minnesota, so we just saw this bomb of a team. So we 10 run them easy, and then it's like, well, now what do we do?
Yeah.
So then we go a little south to Ghent, and we have beers, and so then it's not great.
Had a few too many at this point.
Yep, and so then it's about an hour until game time. I suppose we could go because it's just a 5 minute trip.
Yeah.
So then we go there, and then I don't know. We see 2 balls coming at us at once. Ground ball because we're a
Go
little
for the
under
middle
the
one.
influence, a little too much.
And there you go, folks. That is town ball in a nutshell. No.
Right there it is. And so then I think it was the third and final time we go. In the first game, I hit an absolute bomb.
Wow.
Like 400-foot bomb.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know if I could hit like this. PO
Yeah.
and at Bethany really didn't swing a bat at all at Bethany.
Mhm.
And so then that was the first game. And then in the second game of the championship game, so we're kind of, tuned up. I would say. We're not we know our our boundaries when it came to drinking there. So you got their boundary, yes. So then the first inning happened, and I had a missile s- straight out dead center, and it's a football field.
Okay.
So then it just smokes the bleachers
Wow.
for a grand slam.
Wow.
We were at 5-0,
So now you're thinking,
6-0.
I got to do this pregame routine every time I play.
Yeah, that's what you think. And then we end up losing like 9-8, something like that. But it's Townball. You gotta drink some beers.
Partake a little bit. Partake a little bit. I gotcha. So what about have you on when you were on the Kaiserhof or with Searles, have you had a chance to get to state at all on either of those two squads?
I went to state for Belle Plaine drafted me when I was on the Kaiserhof.
Okay.
Didn't like how they treated me
Really?
there because I went into the game. And I think it was like the top of the ninth or something like that, and I had to get one out. And we were the home team, and they were like beating us by like 5 or 6 runs. So I like seriously, like I didn't care for them.
Sure.
And then the next year we play up there, and I shove it to them because I was pissed. I was so mad.
Shoved.
Yeah, I was so mad at him.
So were you more upset because you're losing and then you're like, "Oh, here's your chance, here's your state appearance," and then you get in from
Yeah,
one end
yeah,
of the
and
belt?
that's what I'm gonna remember my first state appearance as.
Okay.
Like no,
Yeah. Right.
and then I got drafted for when I was on the Grizz. Got drafted for the Hanscott Lakers,
Okay.
and we lost our first game.
Okay. So didn't get a chance to go in for that.
No, so only state appearances with Belle Plaine.
Okay, gotcha. So you've been a part of two state teams, only actually got to play in the one then.
Yeah, and
Okay.
That one
hated the
batter.
experience.
Right. Yeah, right. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
But so for you as a draftee, so obviously not being on either of these teams the whole season, coming in as the new guy almost to some degree.
yeah.
Um, what was that experience like? And more so, not maybe like obviously your time on the team maybe wasn't outstanding, but I guess just being on a state team and being a part of it and like understanding like this is an unbelievable experience that I'm in right now. What was that kind of like for you? Like, did you kind of have a
Well,
sit back and be like, man, this is kind of cool?
oh yeah, it's really setback. I mean, there's a lot of people that show up for
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
games,
Yep.
especially if it's a well-known team versus a well-known team.
Sure.
Then you're seeing probably about 2 to 3 thousand people attending this game,
Mhm.
and so then, I mean, that was pretty cool just to see all the people just gather in one spot just for a game, just to see Townball.
Yeah. 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 That's awesome. Cool. That's great. So then, Grizzlies. So talk to me a little bit about right now the current Grizzlies roster. We have some younger guys, some veterans, kind of a mix of both. What's the shakeup of the team look like here?
We have an older vet, Casey Lux.
Okay.
He's about 42 or 43. He throws about 50 poo,
50 poo.
if if not 40 on his knuckleballs.
I don't want to face that. That's too slow.
Yeah, and then you throw me in there. That's a different change. But we're pretty young after that. then the next closest is like 34, 33. So I'm getting on the older spectrum now. On Townball, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, you're the vet now. You're the vet.
Yeah.
Christ, I think I'm going on my like 11th year of Townball or something like that already. It's crazy.
Yeah, I got to be 12 to 13 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. Yeah, I think it's cool to see other people's experiences, and no one person's is the exact same, but it's cool that you had the opportunity to be a part of a state team, and obviously maybe not a great memory for one of them, but pretty cool for the other one for sure, to be a part of it. That'd be pretty awesome. And I don't know, just to get drafted too, like another team that you compete against was like, yeah, we think you're a great player and we want you to play for us or be on our team. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And so then for getting drafted, the Tomahawk League that we're in used to do a best of 3 series for the 12 teams. Then whoever won that got a draft like 2 pitchers from the teams that got eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
So then there'll be a 16 round robin with the draftees. So then whoever went on to state kept those draftees and drafted another pitcher.
I didn't know that.
But then they went around and they said no to that. And so then then it's just a 12-team bracket. But now with the current status of the Minnesota Baseball Association trying to realign these classes, now we have 17 teams in our playoff bracket.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
So we only have 12.
Yeah.
For the new one?
Yeah. 4
12 is a
RBL
great
and 8
number.
Pro.
Yeah, 17 is just so much.
That's a lot. That's a lot of
But
teams.
it is a good number though. I have to tell
How
you
many do
that.
they send?
Yeah. 17
4?
is a good number.
Yeah, that's right. See, 17, great number.
Do they only send 4?
Yeah, we have 4.
Say we get 4 out of 12. So we get a lot easier than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got a lot of bottom teams in our leagues.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Nice, man. That's cool. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Good luck with that. Yeah. That's fair. Awesome, man. So now next question I have for you, another one I like to ask people. What's the best way to describe Townball, right? You get people from out of town or maybe aren't a part of baseball or come to a game and watch it, but they don't really understand it, or you tell them you play on an amateur Townball team, and they ask you what it is. What is your best way to describe what Minnesota Townball is?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Townball is somewhere where I wouldn't say washed up guys go, but guys that just want to hit a baseball go that don't want to give up the sport yet and still have passion for the game.
Yep.
And still want to compete at that high level. We have a lot of great teams in Minnesota. And they just want to be a part of that. And people come from all over for a greasy burger, clog your arteries type of burger. And then, have the local beer. That's brewed local and just like Searles Brewing Company here.
Yeah.
Get yourself a Searles Light and a burger. Searles Burger.
This dude's even sponsoring for us.
Holy cow. Searles, sponsor us.
Right?
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. No, I think that's a good way. I think people playing, doing it for the love of the game. As we mentioned before, I mean, you don't get paid to do it. You don't make any money off of it. You just you just love the game so much and want to compete. But at the end of the day, in between, outside of the lines, share a brew with someone on the other team and talk a little bit. So it's a fun time. It's a fun time.
Yeah, and catch up with like your high school
Yep.
or your college teammates that you had.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. Sweet, man. Well, I think that's all the questions that I have for you. Was there anything town ball related in that realm that we missed that you wanted to talk about or bring up a little bit? Or you think we hit all of the pressing topics for the fans?
I think it was all the pressing topics.
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot.
There we go. That's good. That's good. Sweet. Well, thank you, Nick, for coming on. We certainly appreciate it. Yeah, you can come on whenever you'd like. We'd love to have you again in the future. Maybe sometime during the season, chat a little bit how that's going for sure. That'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll come
Yes.
on whenever you want.
Yeah. Right. Right. Uh, but yeah, another kind of thing personally for you too, and I kind of did this for when Nolan Gross came on and when Brandon Olson both came on the pod and another Bethany guy like yourself too. Um, have a lot of obviously you and I are pretty close friends. Was in your wedding and we've had a lot of fun times together throughout the years. And I think coming in as a freshman, on the Bethany baseball team and thinking I was gonna play, not ending up playing was like it sucked at first, but I mean was not good enough. Like I knew very early on, like look at the line of people in front of me. I ain't gonna play. So I appreciated, Coach Craig being honest with me with that and still being able to help out. But I want a huge thank you to you and to all those guys, on the squad for, really, making me still feel like, I was a part of the team and feel like I was one of the guys because could have been very easy and you guys had all the right in the world to not give me the time of day. I'm just a student manager. I don't even play, um but I really truly like really appreciated that from you and from everyone else on the team and then obviously had a good friendship come out of it too, so I will be forever grateful for that.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Great to hear.
I
You
appreciate
still
it.
you still got that Trevor Story jersey?
Sure do. Yep, it is in the closet. Yep.
It sucks that he's not with the team anymore.
Yep, can't wear that one too much these days, but yeah, a throwback or anything every once in a while, I'll whip that one out.
Is he hated in Coors
No,
country at all?
no,
No.
people love him.
Dude never even plays anymore, anyways.
People love him. Yeah. So, but anyways, so thank you for that. So we'll move on. We'll move on. But anyways, folks, thank you for listening to this episode of the Dorton and Doetkott Debate podcast. And please tune in, share, follow. If you know someone that wants to come on, talk some Minnesota Townball, would love to have you. But anyways, folks, as for myself, Nick, until next time, we are out.